So today, we're diving into a really chilling story. This is a first-person account of a supernatural experience, and it's one that starts with deep family tragedy, and then, well, it spirals into something much, much darker. Let's break down this terrifying journey. Right from the start, this story doesn't ease you in. It just hits you with this one deeply unsettling line. Just try to imagine that for a second. You're a kid, you're dealing with the loss of your father, and then just a few days later, you start seeing him again. This single sentence just sets the tone for everything that's about to happen.
All right, so, Section 1, a sad beginning. You know, every ghost story has an origin point, and this one is born from a really personal tragedy. This is where it all kicks off, not with the big scare, but with that quiet, constant pain of grief.
So this timeline is absolutely crucial to understanding what's going on. The narrator, she loses her father when she's only 9 years old, and the sightings, they start almost immediately. But the thing is, this isn't just a one-off event. It evolves. By the time she gets to 7th grade, the whole nature of this presence, it starts to shift into something new, something much more unsettling. Anger.
You know, what's so powerful about this part of the story is how real it feels. I mean, of course, right? A grieving kid says she sees her dad who just passed away, and her mom's reaction is exactly what you'd expect. It has to be the grief, the trauma. But that logical reaction, well, it kind of leaves the narrator all alone with her experience. To her family, it's just her imagination. But for her, it is terrifyingly real.
So that brings us to Section 2, the unseen protector. And this is where the story really takes a turn. These sightings, they're no longer just the sad echo of a memory. They're becoming something much more active. And for a while, it almost feels like protection.
The encounters are definitely getting more and more tangible. It's not just a quick flash in the corner of her eye anymore. No, she vividly describes seeing him sitting right there next to her in her classroom. This presence is becoming a constant companion, and that's a detail that's somehow both comforting and, incredibly bizarre.
And this is the detail that just changes everything. The thing she's seeing isn't just a happy memory of her dad. No, it's carrying the gruesome wound from his death, a hole in his forehead, and it's still bleeding. This one single graphic image tells you everything you need to know. This is not some peaceful spirit. This is the echo of a violent end.
So a really disturbing pattern starts to show up. These appearances, they're not random at all. The spirit seems to show up at its strongest during moments of conflict, specifically when her stepfather was abusing her. So from her perspective as a kid, the conclusion seems almost logical, right? My dad's ghost is back to protect me.
All right, Section 3, a terrible warning. Just as we're getting used to this idea of a ghostly protector, the story takes a sharp, terrifying turn. Because that protector, it's about to become a warning of something awful.
Picture the scene. It's totally mundane, just a young girl studying for her exams. And then she looks up and she sees him standing at the gate. But this isn't the quiet, watchful presence she's grown accustomed to. The whole vibe has changed. Something is very, very wrong.
And here it is, the big shift. The entity she's looking at is no longer this silent guardian. It's described as frightening, filled with a visible, almost electric rage. All of that protective energy has just vanished. And in its place is just pure menace. Any sense of comfort or safety is totally gone.
And this really makes you question everything you thought you knew about this story. Was this ever really a protector? Or has some other darker force just been pretending to be her father this whole time?
Section 4, the stepfather's death. That question we just asked is about to be answered in the most shocking way you can imagine. The ghost's rage, it seems to have a direct and fatal consequence.
Just think about the timing here. It's so chilling. The enraged spirit appears. It sits right next to her, but it doesn't hurt her. And yet, on that exact same day that it showed up full of rage, her abusive stepfather suddenly dies. Now, the story doesn't explicitly connect the two, but the implication is just overwhelming. And it's absolutely terrifying.
Section 5. Now your mother's turn. And you'd think the story ends there, right? The threat is gone, the ghost's job is seemingly done, but what happens next reveals this thing's true, horrifying endgame.
This last vision is by far the most terrifying. This isn't just a ghost standing in the room. This thing is peering down through the solid ceiling, its neck impossibly long, bent down looking at her.
It's a physically impossible, monstrous image that just shatters any final hope that this thing is her father.
And then, for the first time, it speaks, and it delivers this one clear, horrifying message. The protector has become an executor, and its job isn't finished. It has a new target. This is the final awful reveal. Its goal was never protection. It was destruction.
And that is where the account just stops, leaving us hanging right on the edge of a brand new horror. It's such a terrifying thought to end on. The entity she thought was there to protect her was actually a malevolent force that has now turned its attention to the only family she has left. It really just leaves you with that one chilling question: what happened next?